Hey everyone, this is Michael Angel, Real Human, and you are watching My Human and Me. So in this explainer video, I like taking topics like this and breaking them down into an explainer video that just helps you understand the broad landscape. So I hope you enjoy this and find value. Please like and subscribe. Thanks so much.
You know, we've hit this really fascinating, almost chaotic tipping point in the AI industry. Honestly, it's gotten to the point where most people can't even tell the difference anymore between the chatbot, the company, the model, and the actual tech running the whole shebang underneath. And because everything is blurring together, conversations about where this is all heading are getting, well, a little weird. So today, we're going to clear all that up. We are walking through a chronological guide of the AI landscape, tracing exactly how we got here, and more importantly, where we're going next in this explainer. Okay, to aggressively break a common mental model right out of the gate, most people think ChatGPT is the AI model. It is not. No, ChatGPT is literally just the app. GPT is the actual model family running underneath it. I really want you to let that sink in for a second. Separating the interface you interact with from the actual engine powering it, that is absolutely crucial. It's the master key to understanding literally everything else we're about to talk about. And, you know, it's the exact same dynamic across the board. Think about Gemini, Claude, and Grok. These are all just different interfaces sitting on top of their respective model families, the actual underlying mathematical brains doing all the heavy lifting for us. And they each have entirely different ecosystems and fundamentally different business strategies. Because underneath all these sleek interfaces you see on your phone, there's an arms race happening, and it's moving so incredibly fast that even industry insiders are struggling to keep up. So here's our map for this explainer to make sense of all the noise. We'll start with the chatbot illusion, then look at the big four, move into owning the model, trace the shift from media to agents, and finally, uncover the new operating layer. All right, let's dive right into section 1, the chatbot illusion. Think back to just a year ago. Chronologically speaking, most people treated AI like it was just one single chatbot in a one-horse race. But man, that era is completely over. Today, the ecosystem is fragmenting and fast into highly specialized tools. Sure, we still have those general-purpose models, but they're now joined by dedicated coding specialists, image systems, video generators, local models, and even autonomous agents. Some of these are optimized purely for complex reasoning, right? Others are built for writing software, and some are designed specifically to run privately on your laptop, while your machine's fans sound like a literal jet engine taking off. Once you recognize this massive fragmentation, the whole industry suddenly makes a lot more sense. Which brings us to section 2, the Big Four. When we step back and look at the massive pillars dominating this frontier space right now, it's super fascinating. Because these 4 players, they aren't just competing on raw intelligence anymore. I mean, let's be real. Intelligence benchmarks change every 6 business minutes anyway. Instead, they're competing on entirely different core business strategies. The contrast here is just incredible. On one hand, you have Google's strategy, which is all about integration. They're basically trying to make AI invisibly disappear into your daily workflow, living quietly inside Gmail, Docs, Android, Search. It's not supposed to feel like a separate tool. Compare that to OpenAI strategy, which is totally focused on building a massive standalone ecosystem. They've got the most recognizable consumer product, a huge developer base, and this sprawling stack that covers text, reasoning, image generation, and even video systems like Sora. Then we have Anthropic's Claude, which kind of sits in its own unique category. You know, people often say Claude feels less like an overexcited intern trying to impress you, and more like a careful engineer trying not to break production. Actually, Claude's real advantage for developers might not even be raw intelligence. It's more about its careful temperament, its structured analysis, and its incredible long context reasoning capabilities. And rounding out the Big Four, we've got Grok. Grok relies heavily on real-time awareness through its deep integration with the X platform. This makes it uniquely reactive to breaking conversations, way faster than competitors who rely mostly on static training data. Its tone is also, well, unusually casual. Sometimes it reads remarkably human, and other times it honestly sounds like the world's smartest forum commenter after downing like 2 energy drinks. Let's move on to section 3, owning the model. This is where the timeline of the industry starts getting strategically weird, because frontier AI is no longer locked entirely inside billion-dollar cloud systems run by massive corporations. We're seeing a massive surge in the local AI movement. Models like DeepSeek, Llama, Qwen, and Mistral are dramatically accelerating this shift. Thanks to user-friendly tools like Llama, LM Studio, and Open Web UI, people are increasingly running powerful, frontier-adjacent systems locally and privately on consumer hardware. Guys, people are literally benchmarking these things on their home PCs during their lunch breaks. It's wild. The real shift here isn't just some narrative about open-source models beating OpenAI on a test score. That completely misses the point. When you move from cloud AI to local AI, you're shifting control. You're bringing ownership, absolute privacy, untethered experimentation, and control directly back to the user. It is a fundamental shift in power. All right, on to Section 4, from media to agents. As we move further down the timeline, AI is breaking out of just text and evolving into these wild, specialized creative systems. Midjourney dominates for cinematic aesthetics, Flex is known for its incredible precision, and Stable Diffusion remains the absolute king of customization and control. And now we have video and music systems like Sora, Runway, and Kling entering the chat. And yeah, while these systems are still imperfect, occasionally generating background humans that look like they escaped from a procedural nightmare dimension, they are improving incredibly fast. So fast, they're currently sending copyright lawyers worldwide into the 5 stages of grief. And this brilliantly illustrates the real paradigm shift happening right now. We are moving from step 1, AI that just answers questions, to step 2, AI that uses tools and memory, all the way to step 3, AI that performs autonomous actions, like browser control, complex coding tasks, and file management. It's a terrifyingly short leap from a helpful assistant waiting for instructions to a semi-autonomous digital worker actively pursuing outcomes. Which finally brings us to Section 5, the new operating layer. Now we arrive at the massive, invisible macro picture of what AI is actually becoming in our world. The crucial point to take away here is the real transition isn't chatbot versus chatbot anymore. It's AI becoming the foundational operating layer underneath modern life. It's becoming the invisible infrastructure flowing underneath our software, our search engines, our productivity tools, media networks, devices, and eventually our daily workflows themselves. Because of this, the winners in this space might not simply be whoever holds the smartest model. The future is going to belong to the systems that are the most integrated, affordable, distributed, or deeply embedded into everyday life. And as we discussed with local AI, that future might not belong entirely to centralized cloud companies at all, but to systems running directly on the devices we already own. So the question is no longer whether you use AI. You already do. The actual fight right now, the thing you really need to pay attention to, is over who owns this underlying infrastructure layer, who controls it, and ultimately whether it works for you or simply works around you. But remember, all of this incredible software intelligence still relies on something very physical.
So you can understand that the question about which platform is best is a question that is going to change month after month, and depending on what you need your AI to do for you. Eventually, we'll all be dealing with some uncomfortable transitions in AI as it becomes more of a broader infrastructure that we all are partaking in, even if we make a conscious effort to avoid doing so. Thank you, and like and subscribe and all that stuff. Bye for now.